Oh, I got some juicy news for you. Profit First app version 2.0 is here. With an enhanced user experience and video guidance throughout, you can now be even more confident in your Profit First implementation. Plus, listeners who work with a certified Profit First professional get extra benefits. Check it out now at www.profitfirstapp.com.
Today, right here, right now, this is the moment that you will finally say,
I'm growing my accounting practice, and you're going to discover exactly how right here, right now,
on the Grow My Accounting Practice podcast.
I'm Mike Michalowicz, joined in the studio by my friend here.
Hey, I'm Liz Scorn. I'm a guide here at Profit First Professionals.
And probably the most eloquent speaker.
Sorry.
Definitely between the two of us. And I am the author of Profit First and co-founder of Profit First Professionals. You're listening to our show, GMAP. It stands for Grow My Accounting Practice. This is the show where we teach you the step-by-step to doing that. And it's not always the things you expect. Today, we're going to talk about the full journey. And maybe doing it scared is the way you need to do it. So if you're an accountant, if you're a bookkeeper, or if you're a coach, welcome to the greatest show on earth. We have a GMAP Now task today, too. The one task, if you do see results, we have a trippy question, and we have a great guest interview. Donna Lim will be joining us.
So great.
How are you holding up, Liz? All the responsibility for the tech, the audio, the interview, it's all on your shoulders.
It is. It's a lot of pressure. And am I echoing? Does it sound
No.
echoey, or is it sounds okay?
Amazing. Yep.
Okay, great. Yeah, no, I'm getting, this is actually, I like Zoom so much better than in the old days when I had to do your system of 55 screens and pressing so many buttons. So I still get sweaty, but I feel
a little less sweat.
A little less sweaty, but no, it's good. I do miss having y'all in here though. I do like having you and Ron and the three of us getting the giggles and all the things. So
yeah, me drawing graffiti on the table.
oh my gosh. I am going to have to take pictures of the table. It is so ridiculous. It is straight up lunchroom,
I'm an artist,
middle school lunchroom table.
A lot of people don't know that I'm an artist. Before we bring Donna Lim on, I'm curious because I do want to ask her about doing it scared.
Yeah.
What have you done scared, Liz? Like, what have you just stepped into and said, I'm doing this regardless? So
most recently, and I think we talked about this last year, we, in our quarterly review or quarterly meetings and things, we always talk about, what we want to do for the new year. Every year I do one scary thing. And 2 years ago, I joined a band. And that was one of the scarier things that I had done in a while. And I perform, I'm a singer, I do all this thing, but I hadn't in 25 years. And so we did a bunch of gigs and I joined the band and did it. And it was as sweaty and fun and scary as I wanted it to be. So yeah.
The references to perspiration is in excess on this show. And,
how about you? I feel like you do so many scary things all the time.
Yeah, I would say every time I go on stage and speak, like people are like, oh, you must be used to it. No, I'm terrified every time. But also get into the flow very quickly.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's what we're going to talk about in part today. We're going to talk about the journey of Profit First and specifically how Donna Lim has started focusing on, not more than started, she is focusing on a niche, catering to this niche, and how it's impacting her journey. Think how it can impact yours as a listener. Donna Lim is passionate about helping businesses succeed financially, using her 20 plus years of experience and problem solving skills to drive results. As the founder of Suitor Consulting, she's built a thriving Silicon Valley accounting firm specializing in Profit First for businesses with fixed pricing structures. No further ado, Donna Lim, welcome to the show.
Oh my.
Oh my.
We are honored to have you here. And I got to ask you, because it was in the show notes, and I didn't realize this, that you ran away from an accounting degree on 3 separate occasions. That's like a perfect start to the show. Tell us about that.
So when I graduated high school a long time ago, I started an accounting practice or an accounting degree. And I was in love and I just had to get married and have children. And I was like, I don't like this. And so, I walked away from it. And then in 1999, I went back to school after having children, and I was like, I'm going to get an accounting degree. And I went back to school and I'm crying over the homework. I hate the homework. I just can't stand accounting homework.
Yeah.
And so I got a degree in being an administrative assistant. And then in 2005, I go back for my bachelor's degree. And I remember coming out of the shower one day and, my husband of over 20 years, I'm crying and he's like, "What are you crying about?" And I go, "I hate
You're crying.
accounting homework." And there was very few times that the man would actually stand up and make me submit to something, but he looked at me and he goes, "Donna Marie Suter, you are getting your degree." So I have a degree in business management.
Oh, that's so funny. That's so funny. But, so maybe you walked away from some of those situations temporarily, but now the new Donna Lim, you're walking into situations doing it scared. Recently,
Oh,
tell us about the recent story of what you did scared. I was on the phone with you just 2 weeks ago. I was blown away.
So I have embraced doing things scared in my business, probably most of it. I feel like if you are not a little bit uncomfortable, you're probably not putting yourself out there enough to grow. And so I came, into the Surge program, and I was challenged to niche in a area where I have had over 18 years of experience in. I know the insurance world inside and out. I know what those guys do. And so I really wanted to get in front of them. And through conversations, I got in front of a person that schedules webinars for insurance agents. And I am booked for June 18th to speak in front of 800
800.
insurance agents. Yeah, baby,
amazing.
I'm going to do it scared.
I love it so much.
800. The typical audience when I'm really cruising is about 200 people just to give context.
Yeah,
800.
it's
Yeah,
amazing. That's no joke, friend. Congratulations. So
thank
great.
you.
So I'm very curious about your journey and really how you picked a category to serve and why that's important, or maybe things you've discovered why maybe that's not important. Niche specialization. Tell me about that.
So the niche of insurance actually kind of fell into my lap. I was in a BNI group, and the insurance agent had already hired me. She was the one that kind of sponsored me into my BNI group, and she just kept referring me out to her friends. And pretty soon, I am from coast to coast doing State Farm agents, and having a really good time, but really understanding when you get a number of them, you start to see all the patterns.
Mm.
You start to see all the patterns when you niche down. And that is the brilliance of niching and being, focused on one thing. And
Love that.
the Profit First book went through some insurance circles of mine, probably several times. I think I read it 4 times before I actually decided to sit down and do this thing.
Do this thing. Do you mean for yourself and Suitor Consulting, or for your clients and say, I want to join?
Both, both.
Okay.
I was really quite frustrated with my clients that were trying to implement Profit First, but then making, quite frankly, my life harder, because they would move money into profit and then they would go, "Oh, I need the money to pay for OpEx." And so the money would be zinging all around, and all that conversation in the book and stuff about how this wasn't going to be hard bookkeeping wise. It was really hard bookkeeping
Mm.
wise. And so I would think that, it took me about 4 times. I read the book. I was finally just upset and I was like, I'm going to do the 1% challenge while I am reading the book. And I kept going after I read the book. I'm like, let's just see where this goes. And so after the first year, I was up to 12% in all of my revenue, going from I just had 2 accounts, a bank account, a checking account, and savings. So 12% was going into my savings. And for the first time in my business, I actually had money.
Nice.
And so much money that I was like, look at this pretty money. This pretty money. Oh, I can do so much with this pretty money. Oh my God, that is why they do small plate theory.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. But it was hard to transition from having the 2 accounts into the 5 accounts, because then all of a sudden you have less in your OpEx. And it gets
Yep.
scary. It gets very scary when you don't have as much in the OpEx and you feel uncomfortable, and you truly do need a guide to help you through. I was so thankful for my guide to, coach me along the way, encourage me, pat me on the back for when I would sit there and go, Erin, there's only $400 in my OpEx account. Are you sure I can live this way?
Yeah.
And Aaron would say, you can do it, Donna. It's only 3 days until you get to do an allocation. You can do this. You can do this.
Mm.
And that's where I really go with my clients. I'm like, it's so easy to read about profit first.
Yeah.
The concepts, you're right. In the book, you say it is so easy, but it is not easy to implement. And
Right.
you need somebody to hold your hand when it gets hard.
Yeah.
It,
It's a,
I think about that. I think about this a lot, right? We say that line. It's simple conceptually, but it's definitely not easy to implement. And so you have two things going for you. A, you lived it. B, you know your audience. So how did you marry those two things together to help them? Maybe because you used the idea. You said, I saw the patterns. I know where they're going. So how do you help them
mm.
say, I know the path. I know how to get here. How did you marry those two things together for your clients?
So when I started my practice, I always thought that my job was not just to do bookkeeping, but I always thought my job was to actually sit and talk to people. So I did a lot of CFOing before I even knew what CFOing was, because why would you pay me just to do the books without talking? So I shared a lot with my clients. I shared my journey with my clients. I was very transparent. I read a lot of books. I talked about those books with my clients. And so there was already this natural conversation between my clients and I, where we could actually just start to talk about profit first. And in some cases, I've had to just not say the word profit first. Let's just talk about cash,
Yeah.
because, it gets them a little bit confused. And so I start just talking about cash.
Oh, that's so smart. Meet them at their level.
That's right. Meet them at their level. With the insurance world, though, profit first is a little bit difficult to implement
Mm.
because it's all front loaded expenses. And I have worked enough years in this industry working with insurance agents to know that when they are starting their agency, for the first 3 years, they will invest 100 grand into their business, whether that is through the cash they have, whether that's through lines of credit, credit cards. It is just fact. I've watched it over and over. And so when I approach one of my agents about cash management, I'm approaching them already knowing that they're going to hold debt. But my idea is, let's keep that debt to 3 years and then create a plan to start paying off that debt. And I have watched people go from being in debt over 100 grand to being completely debt free inside 6 years. So the first few years, it feels like I'm never going to do this. It's going to be really difficult. And then the next 3 years, they can get really like, oh my gosh, I have a lot of choice. I think the other really interesting part about the insurance world is they don't get to choose the rate they're charging.
Mm.
So you can't solve a cash flow crunch by going, I'll just raise my rate. It's not possible for them. So you have to be more creative on we've got to manage the expense, and we have to manage efficiency. And so we're just going to, jump in and get uncomfortable about talking about how efficient your team is.
Mm.
Right from the beginning. Can we make sure that we have an efficient team and really talk about how much they want those team members to produce in each position? What is their goal? Because we can't raise prices to account for more cash.
You shared separately that you had a little hesitancy or reluctancy of going into accounting because it's boring or sterile. How do you, and maybe you started kind of answering it inherently through the responses now, but how do you make it unboring?
Oh, I don't focus on the bookkeeping or accounting because I have to see the whole picture.
I see.
I think that's why business management was a better degree for me because I need to understand the accounting is like the hub, and
Mm-hmm.
every department touches that hub. There is absolutely no department that doesn't touch accounting. So that means that when you're doing accounting, you have to actually be interested and curious about all the rest of the departments. So
So
I'm
interesting.
going to, even though I'm not a marketing person by any way, I'm going to start asking my clients about their marketing and what ROI. Like I have a farmer's agent right now that I'm working on doing profit first. And last year, he spent $10,000 getting seats to a football team, a rival around here. I don't know if I can keep him as a client. I'm sorry, I digressed.
I love it. I
Uh,
love it.
but I looked at him and I went, "You spent $10,000 on those seats. Did you get the ROI you were
Nice.
looking for?"
Mm.
And he said, "No." And I said, "Then I don't think we're doing that this year." So then I saw in January, I saw that he had spent, a little over $3,000, and it's the first of the payments, and it's about $10,000 project. And I said, "Before we begin, what's the ROI you're looking
Nice.
for? What do you want of this?" And I'm going to start reminding you along the way, what is it that you were supposed to get out of this?
Mm.
So I might not know how to do his marketing, but I do know how to ask questions that help him understand if his marketing's working. And that's
Right.
how it's not boring anymore.
Yeah. The other thing that you mentioned right at the beginning too, and I think, I've heard Mike talk about this, like it's not, ignorance is not the word that I mean to use, but like the idea of the fact that you didn't know what bookkeeping was supposed to be. So you
Hmm.
started talking and essentially providing CFO services before you knew what those were more
Mm-hmm.
intentionally. And there is this joy in that and this like freedom in that. You're like, I don't know, this is just what feels right. I'm responding to what they want. They want to talk to me, so I will talk to them. It did bite you in the butt a little bit, just pricing wise, but we'll
Oh,
get to
yeah.
that later. Right. But I love the idea of that's how you made it unboring, just sort of because you didn't know what you were supposed to do. I
I
love
didn't
that.
know what I was supposed to do. And when I started doing sales, I would ask them why are they looking for a new bookkeeper, especially if they had one. Why are you looking for a new bookkeeper? And they would say these really um, ugly words that I think sometimes of our industry. "I hired a bookkeeper and I haven't heard from them in 6 months."
Yeah.
Mm,
Yeah.
Oh, just I heard I need to hear from you. That's
Mm-hmm.
what I heard time and time again. I don't need you to just do my books. I need to hear from you. Okay, message received. I can talk to you. And sometimes they're just lonely. It's lonely at the top. You can't show how scared you are to your team. These owners needed to have a place where they can show their vulnerability and how scared they are and not show the rest of the world how scared they are. I can be that shoulder.
I'm waiting for a single doctor to call and say, "Hey, just want to see how you're doing. Just check in." The only doctor
Ex-
that says anything is a dentist, and it's like, "Hey, happy birthday" with a cheesy smiley postcard. Clean those teeth.
that's right.
Yeah.
People want to. know when they're giving you their hard-earned cash that you're doing something for it. I always felt like the financials and the conversation was like my receipt that I did the work and that I
Yeah.
understood where you were doing what you were doing. And if I didn't understand, please tell me what I didn't understand. And I'll tell you this. I was doing bookkeeping for a State Farm agent that was putting a ton of uh, barber shop stuff on the books. And I'm like, wow, what is he doing? Why? This
Yeah.
is personal. Why would you? Oh, and so the next time I'm on the phone with the guy, I'm like, so can I get you to stop putting your barbershop stuff on the books? And he goes, that's business. And I went, tell me more. He goes, I'm sitting in a barber shop. I'm paying for them to get a shave and they get a quote.
Oh,
Oh, interesting marketing.
wow.
Now let's talk about get different, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
That is an amazing get different advertising story.
Oh my
I went,
God.
I went, oh, that's brilliant. Oh, that's just brilliant.
Yeah, you
Okay.
want this person gets 4 shaves a day.
I'm like, I'm like, what is
He's a
the guy
werewolf,
doing?
everybody. That was the joke. He's a werewolf.
Hey, I gotta ask you this. It's a little personal question. It's such a beautiful phrase. I think it was you, but it may have been Stacy Sequin. That's why I want to ask you. We were on a call, and I think it was you, said every so often, Mike, I ogle at my accounts. Was that
Mhm.
you who said that?
Yep.
Okay, I wrote that down. I'm like, that is one of the most beautiful things I ever heard. I do it myself. Tell me about that. I think it's beautiful, and everyone should be doing this.
You know, the Great Recession was really, really hard.
Yeah.
My husband was, I had been married eons and eons to the man. I met him way too young. I married way too young. And he had never been unemployed for more than 6 weeks in my entire existence with him. And then the Great Recession happens,
Yeah.
and he gets laid off, and he's unemployed for 5 years. 5 years. So we had done everything
Yikes.
right, but you aren't planning on having one income in Silicon Valley for 5 years.
Mm.
And so there was many times that we really struggled with money. There's a you know uh, history of really just not knowing where food was coming from and those things. I used all of that later on to talk to my clients about and be very transparent and help them know that you can survive through that. But when the money started stacking up in my bank accounts, having come from that moment in time where I had to make choices like, is it that I pay my health insurance because I have a very sick husband, or do I pay the mortgage? Oh,
Mm,
wait, back then, if you didn't pay your health insurance, you didn't get back on because you have pre-existing,
Mm.
stuff. So I had to make those kinds of life altering decisions. And so then when the money started piling up, I still just have to sometimes go and look. And the day my accounts, not my married accounts, but my business accounts, me, the day it was over 6 figures for the first time, I just had to sit and stare at it. I
Yeah.
just kept staring, and the next day I just had to open it up and make sure that I was real. Did this happen? And the next day I
ah,
would open it up and go, is this real? Wow, what an incredible feeling to go from nothing to something, be extremely transparent to my team about that, and then be able to share with my clients about it. I used to be ashamed by what happened to me. Now I'm just going to shout it from the rooftops
yeah.
because you can move past those really hard times.
Such a powerful story, and it connects, and everyone wants to ogle their bank accounts. And the fact
Yeah.
you've done it, and you're proudly doing it. I do it too. I love it. I
All
love
that
it.
all that pretty money, pretty
It's
money.
pretty, and what it does is, I think it brings this. Tell me if it's true for you. it's not about the money as much for me, the confidence and security that I don't have to worry about that or things.
Yeah.
It really does ease a lot of future concerns so I can focus and be more present. Money makes me more present. Is that
Well,
true for you?
that is absolutely true for me. When things started moving and and the hubby got a job, I was actually able to sit and think my way through all of the mess that was happening. And then when you're there, all of a sudden you go, I actually now have a lot of choice in what I do. And choices are powerful. And so was it hard to pay off all that debt? Yes, but was it worth all of the peace and the ability to function? And now if I want to spend money, I go, I have it. Am I willing to do it? Is it going to give me the ROI I'm looking for? Execute,
Yeah.
implement.
You have one of my favorite before and after stories ever. If you could talk to your younger self, or maybe it's just speaking to our audience listening in right now, is there that one thing or multiple things that you wish you told your younger self, or could tell our audience, hey, do this, it will serve you?
I don't I don't know if this is going to answer your question completely, but what I would say to the audience is sometimes when you are faced with, I could put this on a bill because I was given a little bit of money. At
Yep.
that time it was a lot. So I was given like $2,000 and I could pay the mortgage, which was already behind, and Wells Fargo wouldn't be happy with me tomorrow. Or I could pay for a business coach to help me think through how to move forward. I chose the business coach
Mm.
because I knew that no matter what happened with that mortgage, the business coach was going to help me move forward and heal.
Mm,
You know, that's akin to Liz's favorite artist of all time, Pitbull, Mr. Worldwide, who says,
totally.
ask for money, get advice, ask for advice, get money twice. I, I love that you did that. Hey, you're Captain America. We know why. It's over your right shoulder. Just want to say, very proud of you.
Yeah.
We won't share the secret, but just very proud of you. We got to wrap up. We're at time. Donna, before we let you go, where can our audience learn more about you or your journey? Just connect with you.
Okay, so you can do suitorconsulting.com, or in the next month, we will have a YouTube channel starting.
Another thing she did scared. She's on video.
Oh my gosh, that's unbelievable. That's awesome. That's
Yep.
awesome.
The first 2 videos will roll out in April and May.
Donna, you rocked it out today. Thanks for being Captain America for us. And that's it for today.
Thanks, Mike.
Thank you, Donna.
Thanks, Liz.
You're the best.
All right, Lizzie,
Oh,
we got
man.
that was
So
great.
fun.
It was
So
great.
fun.
We
I
got to
know.
recap what we learned.
Yeah.
We also have a GMAP now test, but I want to know, do you have a trippy question first?
I do. I
like tripping out first. It's a cliffhanger. It's a cliffhanger.
I know. I like it. I like it. Don't tell Ron. He doesn't like it.
I know he doesn't every show. Like, where are you going?
So many little things we don't get to tease him about today, but
Yeah.
oh well. So the question is, who's the best teacher you've ever had?
Probably my kindergarten teacher in reflection.
Oh.
And I can't remember her last name at the moment, Mrs. But it just was so interesting to see someone care for such a diverse group of personalities.
Yeah.
And then you don't see it, but you had the one kid who probably had AD or ADHD or whatever, and
Yeah.
another kid that was eating crayons because of probably the horrible life they had at home.
Yeah.
And as a kid, you don't get it. You're like, oh, everyone's different and kind of it's weird and strange until you start learning as you get older, like what was really probably going on in people's lives and how just loving she was for every single student. She cared on everyone. So she got it.
Yeah.
And so I love her for that. How about you?
Kindergarten teachers are just like angels on earth. Like they're the best. They're
the
awesome.
best. Yeah. How about you?
Mine, her name was Mrs. Harris. She was my 4th grade teacher. I was a real chubby kid, and I had this body, that grown-up body at age 10. So I'm like towering over everybody. And I was made fun of all the time, whatever. She saw me in a way that no one had ever seen me and validated just my existence. And I went back like through high school and through college. She passed away. And I just remember being like, you have no idea what you did for my self-esteem. Like I always knew at the bottom of everything when people are saying terrible, dumb things, I'm like, well, Mrs. Harris likes me. Her husband
Yeah,
likes me because
exactly.
she's like, my husband always just thought you were so funny and so nice. And I'm like, even your husband? I don't even know if he ever saw me, whatever. But yeah, I mean, the power of just simple acknowledgement and validation. And I carry that with me today. Like that lesson is fully implanted in what I
I
do.
love that. It's totally
Yeah.
congruent with what Donna was telling us. Like the right guide at the right time can be transformative.
100%.
What was your
100%.
takeaways, Liz? What'd you learn from Donna?
So I'm cheating because I get to work with Donna. I have the honor and privilege of like being on the strategy team with her and her
Yeah.
team, and we have so much fun. But what I love about Donna, I said the one thing, like she just didn't know and she's just doing it. She's like, this feels right. It's the receipt for doing the work. Like, why would you not talk? But it's the power of why. And so I love that simple question that, we talk about the power of why a lot, but she does it. Like, why are you looking for a new person? Why is this important to you? Why do you want to work with me? Why? So I love it. I love that she just always asks why. She's a very curious, thoughtful human being. So those are my takeaways from Donna.
Interestingly, with the art of why, I asked my daughter to wash the dishes and she goes, "Hell, why?" So very, very similar.
L.
Why? I got 3 major takeaways. One was I've never heard someone say this about a niche. When you get a certain number of the niche, you start to see the patterns.
Oh,
that's exactly true. I love that phraseology. That
I pictured like the hieroglyphics. All of a sudden, she's like, I can read them. I can see them.
Yes.
Is what the visual. That was the visual that popped into my head. It was like water, and then she's like, I can see it. I see what they need.
It also just points to or emphasizes that you need to get quantity in your quality, meaning if your quality niche is
that's a good line.
Insurance agents, you need quantity there to see what's going on, which then elevates your quality. So I just fascinating way to frame that. When I asked Donna, I said, what makes the work you do unboring? She says, when you get to see the whole picture. And that was really cool too. I think that is the future of bookkeeping, accounting, coaching, all of it. We must be much more holistic. So I thought that was interesting. And the last thing, I never heard this either. Accounting is the hub for everything. And it's true. Every business, part of the business touches that accounting. So that was great. Okay. I got one more thing. It's my little GMAP Now task. The one task you do, you will see results. This is in the doing it scared theme. I asked every one of our listeners just to reflect back on your childhood. Maybe it was kindergarten, maybe it was 4th grade with Mrs. Harris. What was the dream? When I grow up one day, I want to be what? I just challenge you to spend one day actually doing that. I want you to honor that childhood dream. Maybe it's not for you. I wanted to be a garbage man. And I am actively looking if there's a refuse company that will let me work for them one day. I'll do it gratis. I want to fulfill that dream I always had. So, what's your dream? And do it now. And even if you're scared, that's the GMAP Now task.
I love that. And I think I've told you this before. My husband, that was his dream, to live in a house of men and to be a garbage man. That was what he wanted.
Two of us munching on cigars, throwing garbage.
Exactly right.
As a child,
you two can do it together.
Munching on a cigar, by the way.
All right, that's it.
All right.
I don't know if you can hear it.
I can hear fade now. I do want to invite our guests. Check out ProfitFirstProfessionals.com. We're honored to have Donna Lim as a member of our organization. We'd be honored to consider you as a member of the organization, but you have to take the first step. So go to ProfitFirstProfessionals.com, click on the option to become a PFP. What that does is it triggers a conversation with Ron or Liz, and we will interview you as much as we want you to interview us. If there's a fit, we will help you bring profitability to all of your clients, including yourself. And maybe you'll be ogling at your accounts. That's my dream for you. Thanks for joining us today.
Awesome. Thanks, Mike. Thanks, Donna. Bye, everybody.